I was talking with a Navajo singer in northern Arizona, and this was years ago. I was traveling through the area with my friend, and we were looking for permission, so we went to his hogan, and we brought groceries and sacks of flour. He invited us in, and we sat and talked for a while, translating through his adult grandson, and the singer asked if I had any questions. I could ask anything I wanted, and I said, how did your people come to be in this place? How did the Diné arrive in northern Arizona? And he said, we came from the ground. And I knew this story from Navajo cosmology, that the people emerged from underground, and that's how they arrived in this desert. And so I pressed him on it, and he said, no, there was no migration. We didn't arrive from somewhere else. We came from the ground. And I think I was being tone deaf at this point, but I was trying to get to another point. I was saying, well, the Diné language, your language is here in Arizona, and it's also in the Arctic, in the Yukon Territory in Alaska, and it's also in Siberia. So there's this arc out of Asia into the Americas. And he said, no, we came from the ground. And I looked down at the red Moen Kopi hardpack underneath his hogan, and I thought, they came from the ground, of course. This is part of so many of the stories that come out of North America, out of the Native American tradition of going from one world to the next, arriving in a new world. For the Navajo, there are the monster slayer stories where two twins are sent out to kill the monsters that occupied the world and make it safe for people. For the Tlingit and Haida of the far northwest coast, the first people arrived in a clamshell that was sealed closed, and it washed up on a beach. And trickster god Raven showed up and opened up the clamshell and let the first people out. For the Hopi, the arrival into this world was, the last world was flooding, and they crawled through a hole, which turned out to be a hole in the ground into this world, and the water rose and sent them up to here. There are so many stories about arrival and transformation that I think it must have been a big thing getting here, threading the eye of a needle. A journey was involved, a migration, not from some other land or continent, but from the ground, from another world, which to me means a long, long time ago, an arrival that people are still talking about. And it was probably different for everyone.